Well, they're still driving by and being assholes and having people say stuff to me because they're low lives and they have no IQ. I ramble through everything all the time, and when you realize how not funny this is, it's really not funny. Um, them having a man pretend he's FBI before I call well back and then date rape drugging me so I couldn't remember. That's really not funny. None of this is. I told you the whole story of the 10-3 driveway, $5,000 disappearing from the safe after he got his $1,800 bonus. My car getting scratched up. Us getting a security system after 25 years. I told you about him leaving to work early and then crying in the changing room that he couldn't do something, and I can't, and getting up and asking him who he was talking to, and he said no one. I tried to call it back, and a woman said just do it. He's like, what are you doing? I said, nothing. And then he bragged to my grandson Daniel, enjoy grandma now, you won't have her after Christmas, and scared him. He was leaving to work early, and I thought he was cheating. I was wrong. Well, he was cheating. Um, but I told you about the attempt to break in, Perry Police in Massillon. Made a mistake there, said they knew where the security system was after he got caught with pot in his system at work because he crashed a machine and they had to send it out and make sure he didn't participate. I told you, yeah, the attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking, following, reending, um, not realizing it was him and them. And then him bragging to me later on that him and Jack had it planned since March because I wouldn't give up everything willingly. A girl costing me my job. And when they found out it wasn't me, they tried to give it back. Um, then what else did they do? I mean, I'm skimping around because they're driving by and they need to realize how not funny this is. They were leaving threats out in the mall, not with just Sarah, but her old manager and the girl that used to work with her that went to work with Katie, that they had a permanent plan to do away with me. Let's see. Um, the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, threatened to knife me in Giant Eagle. And some crazy Pizza Hut blonde waitress getting paid to watch me. Um, and then I told you about in Giant Eagle that guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, threatened to knife me in Giant Eagle, and I had to go open an account and get away from him. Let's see. Then down at Walmart, the African American lady spent my face, and her white boyfriend was harassing me. And then another man with black hair, dark eyes, and eagle tattoo would have shamed me. Realizing how stupid was I, thinking he was only cheating, and that it wasn't him and them. Um, and then that one girl's phone call, the church has taken up $25,000 to have me murdered. Because I got well the year some guy's kid died and had nothing to do with the death. But that minister lied to everybody. I was faking I was sick and faking I got well to hurt him while he was grieving. He's telling it 15 years later. And they never knew I overheard that phone call. I mean, I was still on the phone and she didn't hang up. I thought I was getting his girlfriend. Um, realizing there's a good chance she was part of that attempted kidnapping. So let's see. Then Dave telling me his girlfriend, which is rich and powerful and her family owned the police, and I wouldn't be able to withstand. So I called the FBI. I had bruises sizes of oranges and grapefruit. I cut on my leg one day. He had marks on my arms, and I couldn't figure out where I was getting banged up. And times I'd go out and work in the yard and come in and wash my hands, make something to drink or eat, go and use the bathroom, rewash my hands really good, and come out, take a drink, and get dizzy. And have to lay down here. They were day rape drugging me. Um, let's see. And then where I had went fetal for like 3 days, and I couldn't get out of bed. I had to get up and mow the lawn to get air in my face to call Sarah and said, if I call someone, will you witness for me? Of course, I'm scared for you. So I put Will's number where he left it and a card for her, and her manager put it in locker. We went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer got in his face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. And I walk off, and Dave comes in, let's go, and he yells at me and threatens my life all the way home. Next day I have to call Will back, and my head's spinning again. The only thing I can remember is the what a shame guy. I can't help you if you don't have a witness while Sarah's waiting for you. Are ready to talk to you. I already spoke to her, and he listed me informant. He actually made a lot of big promises that you'll have a life of peace as an informant, nothing legally stated dated against you again, and only for no man will ever touch you. Nothing legally stated dated against you again, and only for you would we ever do this for. Always put it back to the traffic ticket, because I have one traffic ticket from 89. And you can't be legally charged for anything for working this case. Promised me an account with money in it when this is over, for me to move out. If it got too bad, he'd pull me out. He left me up there to die. They said February 25th, 22, McDonald's, Hillsdale's, Whipple. One of my neighbors who lived 2 or 3 houses down, I think I've seen his car there before. He came in and said, I'm tired of this. And this Bob, and he walks in ahead of me. Those undercover police called Will and told him she was lying. So he went and helped her, and I found out he didn't watch one house tape for them to get away with this. Well, I just went down to the Tuscarora Sheriff's to get my CCW. He said, the Portage County Sheriffs are sending out emails for everyone, telling everyone not to believe you, that you were getting threatened or even harmed. He said it's illegal for them to do this. You can't tell someone not to believe somebody who's getting threatened and harmed. He said, you tell me what's going on. So I started through everything. And then I told him how I talked to an agent. He started a state case, and the police work at Maslin works there, because they watch my daughter-in-law Dix. And I said, I can show you a tape straight from the case. He's like, let me see it. Well, you can see my ex-husband threatened my life, admit to harming me, knowing of other people threatening my life. I went back to pick up my CCW, and I said, could I have a copy of that email? He said, I shredded it, and we told him that no one can say a word against you again. You already proved it. April 14th, 22, Save-A-Lot to Canton investigators, because Canton's been all over this, because those dirty officers were in the back of CSV Bank and telling people they were my security firm being an informant. Found out that it was them doing it. Okay. Two lady investigators come in. They really did have a man pretend he was FBI before she called that agent back. It was a stunt for Dave to confront her in the truck. They had people pretend they were kids, bad-mouthing her, and her kids didn't know anything about it. And it's been the people hurting her the whole time. Now, if we'll believe them, when a sheriff, Tuscarora sheriff, said it's illegal for them to say that. Sarah told me she tried to call Will several times, and he didn't. He wouldn't return phone calls. Why would you ask for a witness and not call them back? Good question. Yeah, very good question. Leaving me up there to die, failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. You can't just let somebody kill someone. And I was already told on, and they impersonated a federal officer before I called them back because they already knew, because they were photoshopping shower scenes, drugging me up, and stalking me. So they already knew, and they came up with that stunt to look like the FBI was helping them. Yeah, and they told everybody they were agents from agencies stationed in the courthouse, and they were FBI, and they were nothing but dirty undercover police. The Tuscarora sheriff told me, he said, you need to get a hold of the FBI or the Ohio Attorney General and tell them to arrest the Portage County Sheriffs for this. And he said, and then when I went back to pick up my CCW, he said, you need to find someone to move you out of here. And I told him about the state case name, Karen Around the House. That's what officers in uniform call it. And Maslin works. I said, Maslin does. And I said, yeah. They went to my daughter-in-law, Dixie, on Federal Avenue. They drove around trying to keep them safe because they play with their vehicles. Now, do I think any of this is funny? These people are domestic terrorism group, stalking people, photoshopping, drugging them, impersonating federal officers, human trafficking by exploiting them for money, letting cops rape them and selling rapes on the internet to publicly humiliate them, have them stalked and harassed day and night. Do you think I think any of this is funny? I'm probably not their first victim. And then selling a real protected life case set up by the FBI turned over the police. None of this is funny. Like, and they already know about all the shower scene, the drugs, and told to say stuff before. The photoshopping, and more than 10 told on them. And as far as my grandkids, they're documenting me games to pretend Maslin will always verify it. They watch the case from Maslin in case they pull this crap with Dix or anybody in my family there. Because those kids got caught stating on Thanksgiving of 18, they made everything up. One of my guards showed up January 12, 22, met some goons at Walgreens North Main. When those kids got caught stating they made everything up. They're documenting me games to pretend because they wanted the house for Auntie Shell. Retired Judge Pete. Looks like a little white Santa Claus, friends with Judge Timothy Ludick, which is a magistrate over that county. I Googled last night, too, if officer tapes you unaware in their house and it's not the protective light case is set up correctly, they lose their badge and can get charges. They can get up to 5 years, and it's not admissible, and it says right there that the prosecutor's office cannot even use it. And they admitted of framing me, admitted it was a shower scene, admitted they drugged and told me to say stuff. They ratted out everyone out. None of this is funny. I have never been questioned of the police of wrongdoing with no Miranda rights, no court trial. I have nothing against me. I have no charges, no nothing. They made everything up. They said it in June of 19 at Liberty House here in front of the North Canton Jackson Police. That officer was in the back, and so were several other ones that they had made up a case to watch me before they did something funny because she really liked them. Someone does need to arrest them. They're quite dangerous. They will literally beat, rape, torture you, and sell it to even children to watch. They're that sick. Someone needs to pull Will's case. And you know, one of the things Will's secretary, when I called up there, that I had seen that guy, she said, tell the police to get a hold of us. We're busy. They were too busy to look and how Brooke was up there. And they have them like the Amish men with their beards. Because a cop talked to Dave. Per Department of Justice, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life. And they have to speak to everyone before they start. or it's abuse and misconduct, and they lose their badge, and it's not admissible. That's why Officer Reinhardt Louisville giggled about this whole situation. We could never look or listen. It'd be illegal too. Before Will took your statement and agreed to protect you, they couldn't even be in your home. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. 4th and 5th Amendment. You want to go 6th, 7th, and 8th too? So Will couldn't have known about Michelle or them illegal search and seizure because he would have had to arrest them. And then found the connection to a retired judge. Well, they just drove by again. Loud, aren't they? Day and night, follow me. My one neighbor, Amy, said, I hear them laugh outside of all the things they told you and told you to say, and they're talking about you saying ecstasy and all this. They're so-called sodium pentothal reports. Date rape drug at me, so I couldn't remember how well. Anything but the butter shame guy. That's bitch. And impersonating a federal officer, that's really bitch. They made this public by Christmas 18. They sold the police login to a protected custody. It made money at my expense and others. They're really sick, and all these people helping out have lost their ever-loving minds. How much is a human life worth? How much is a human life worth? That they think they can terrorize, cut up, rape, torture, drug, publicly humiliate for fucking money. How much is a human life worth? How much is a human life worth? And someone needs to arrest these people. They're very, very dangerous. And they have him dead to rights with Will's case. Because he opened a state investigation. That's what an officer in uniform called it. It's a state case. Karen around the house. State case. It's the officers in uniform call it. Maslin has that. And so does others. They turned me over to the police for protective custody for an informant. And I never had to stay quiet one day. You know, I told the Tuscarora sheriff how I went to Faith Family Church and they showed up. She's an informant. People are threatening her life and trying to kill her. He's like, they're not allowed to tell on you. I said, worse, they sold the login. He went, you need to move to Canada or Florida. I have nothing against me. They made everything up to cover up their photoshopping and drugs. The undercover police officer that was one of the main officers that went to Dave was at CSE Bank, was also at Liberty House Show Hills and Dales Road, June of 19. The worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over and properly. We can wipe that one out. And I'm tired of the shower scene and it being altered. It's not funny what they did. And even Camp knows, with Ed telling at the Oakland apartment December 9, 21, 4 p.m. that everything was them and not me, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. He's a maintenance man. And then the white man, bald, dark eyes, distributing food at the Starr County Hunger Task Force, December 9, 21, also by 1, 2 o'clock. There's only 4 or 5 volunteers. He actually worked the case. That they always knew those tapes before were them, not me, so they never said a word. Okay, he talked to the Camp Police investigators too, and then I can give you a list like May 12-22, Bubba's Restaurant screaming at him. We found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26-22, KFC, Belden. By noon, a guy walks in. The attorney had it set up so it looked like she was weird with herself, and they can't use it because some idiot man told on him for a shower scene in the other room. Then all the drugs and told to say stuff. I got about 10 people telling on him. None of this is funny. worst thing he ever did wrong, honey. He bent over and probably week wiped that one out. June of 19, Liberty House sheriff. The investigators, October 2020, FedEx, for we all know this woman's innocent. Investigators working the case screamed it out in Walmart. It's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good in love. Karen's one of the best women you'd ever meet in life, including that officer. He would laugh with the other officers. Won't give Karen no wrongdoing in life because she wouldn't abuse it. None of this is funny. I was found innocent in 18. Canton's been all over this because it told on him and the guy at the Hunger Task Force. Since December, they told the people across from one client out in Canton, don't say anything to her anymore. We already know all the tapes before were them, not her. We didn't realize that. We're looking for who's actually doing it. And they're stupid enough to think they can get money undocumented mean games to pretend Maslin would tell them that. I was found innocent in 18. Because where I called an FBI agent, he opened a state case, had a cop talk to Dave. Karen around the house. Protected home custody for her informant. And they got all these assholes, legally, on home surveillance, partying the hell out of me. And they can't even dispute it like the Amish men with the beards. They had no right in my home before that. Matter of fact, I looked it up on Google. Any officer taping you unaware in your house, they lose their badge. And they face charges. And then having personal interest for friends and family, let alone they admitted to framing me March 24, 22, 130, have witnesses of that. None of this is funny. And then a whole list of drugs and telling you to say stuff before. And photoshopping people in and out of rooms, it's really not funny. None of this is. It's sick. Like the investigators from Canton, this whole thing's sick. Because where I called that agent and Dave put a threat on Dixie's life, then he threatened to kill everyone. Everybody was getting followed around. They caught Melissa telling the kids to lie. And then on kids on Thanksgiving of 18, they made everything up and they wanted the house for Auntie Shell. George Pete Stubborn. It's just a hot mess. And where they give up, like right now, because they realize how stupid they are, they'll find more stupid assholes tomorrow. And when they find out they're being manipulated, they scatter. I've had all kinds of people apologize to me. You know, failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. If Will didn't want to help me, he should have moved me out. Hal broke was up there. And it's public knowledge because they sold the login.